right, we finally got some light graphics tuning done on this G9 monitor. I got some camera set up here for the guys who keep asking for in-game photos. Keep in mind, these are recording at 60 frames per second. So you might see some flickering or some type of nastiness on my screen, but I'm going to go through each game, talk just maybe a quick second about the configuration I did for each game and where I ended up, and I'll show you the graphics settings. Fundamental message of this whole thing is that I need a new graphics card in that box. The 2070 is just not strong enough, but it's okay for now, and OBS is taking about 10 to 15 frames per second out of all of this. So be that as it may, we're still going to try and go forward and get some type of gameplay video going on and talk about some of the graphics settings. So for Assetto Corsa, this is what I have. I believe I was on the mid, I was on the mid setting for graphics. I brought the resolution scale down to 80, but here are my settings. Basically middle of the row. I turned saddle distance up to high. Anti-aliasing is at epic. And everything else is basically kind of okay. Let's move that back to high, actually. And let's go do a lap. And then we'll move to a different game after that. I do want to note that G-Sync, for some reason, doesn't play well with OBS now. It did before the upgrade. I just did a firmware update on this thing earlier. So I'm getting 99 frames right here. And when I didn't have the OBS running, I had about 115. So it varies based off of what type of, what part of the track you're at. Keep in mind, to get this type of graphics settings on my trips, I had to basically run it on low and turn everything as far down as possible, and it looked like I was playing on the PS4. .92 frames. Little bit of it's a shame that G-Sync isn't working because it completely changed the experience, but I will say that in G-Sync, it's incredibly smooth. It's very smooth. 99 frames back here. .101. Now I still see some of a little bit of jaggies going on, and it's not great. It's basically like PS3 graphics. The only way to get, I'm assuming, the only way to get this thing really working good is with a 2080. So my bitch-ass 2070 is not going to be strong enough. So we'll exit here and go into Assetto Corsa Standard. All right, here we are. We're in AC, the standard one. I'm in a LaFerrari. We're going to do a little lap around. I think this is Road Atlanta, the small track. And here are my graphics settings. So I run everything on high, and I kept it there. I bumped it down. It just didn't really do much, and I turned it all the way up, and all I did is it didn't get better. Just turned the performance down, even if I was stationary. So again, my graphics card is not fire. But here are my settings. I have, mostly medium to high normal settings. Mostly everything in the display and effects are high. Nothing's on ultra. Ultra brought me down to about 80 frames, but this is where I ended up. So excuse me. Yeah, let's see what this thing looks like. Am I recording actually? Double check. Yep, I am. Hope you guys can see that. There we go. LaFerrari. This is the FXX version. 115 frames right now. G-Sync is on. Yes, it's back. It's back. And I see some flickering. So I got some flickering going on right now with G-Sync, and I'm pretty sure it's because of OBS, because it doesn't do it when OBS isn't running. 100 frames. .104. Lots of flickering going on. Definitely OBS is consuming something. Because when I tested this without OBS, and maybe I'll do a video with just those cameras in the back showing the outside with G-Sync running, it's so much smoother and there's no flickering whatsoever. But right now there's flickering, and I plan on recording, so I need to figure out how to get the flickering out. All right, Assetto Corsa. I like this game actually. The more and more I play it, the more I like it. But you saw the settings, roughly about 110 to 120 frames per second. Nothing stable. And we're gonna move on to, let's do iRacing. That's always a pleasure. All right, we're back. We got iRacing running. Let's not do a test drive. Let's go in and go into a lobby. Which one looks interesting? Let's go to Spa. Let's do Spa. We'll do a practice round of Spa in the RSR. And then we'll wait about a month for this thing to load up. I did run the graphics config again after doing the firmware update. All this is net new. I did play around a little bit before, but this is I didn't really do any tuning. So let's see what this puppy looks like. And the background noise you just got to deal with. It's 97 degrees out. I got an air conditioning sitting right there. Swamp ass city for sure. Oh god. I don't know why this doesn't join you into the game. It makes you go through 2 steps of workflow. Who's in here? Anybody notable? Every now and then, if you're lucky, you can get in there and like Lando and Max are dicking around with the population of people that race in the GT class. I feel like this application's so far into this monolithic style of development that they have no ability to get out of it. Meaning, iRacing will fundamentally be the same in 10 years, unless they develop on the side. Okay, here we are. We're in iRacing. Here are my graphic settings. This is where I ended up after a little bit of playing. No, it's not, because I want this off. I want that off. I hate the crowds. I'm antisocial. Objects, I think I had on. Let's keep it there. Anti-Scott. How do you pronounce that? Anostropic, whatever it is. I don't want to see your arms. All this extra demand comes off. Shader quality, we'll keep it just high, not ultra. We're going to put a limit of 120 frames. What else do I need to mess around with? Oh, this is a good point. So I have it set for 1 screen right now. We'll switch that over to 3 projection and show what the performance changes are. Gut feeling is I like it better personally. I like it better personally in the triple mode, but this is okay. Let me get the FPS. Oh god, this UI scaling is so bad. I hate the UI scaling. No, keep it at 100. Okay, here we go. Now I have to rearrange all this shit. So we'll just keep this right here just for the sake of it. Actually, we'll keep it in the black so it's got a good contrast. Okie dokie. Don't have pit limiter set up, so 77 frames a second. Wow. It's a good 70 frames, but it's just okay. Looks kind of like it's out of the 80s. And it feels slow, 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 slow. Why can't my car get to the end of 5th gear? I think something's wrong with my pedals. This car's not ripping the way it should, but we don't really care about that right now. I'll figure that out later. Yeah. Oh, I know what the problem is. I have Margaret's pedals on. Alright, let's hope this fixes it. That's hard to deal with. I know we're here for graphics, but... Oh, here comes a car. I do miss G-Sync. I think my mirror quality is a bit high also. It looks really good out of the rear mirror. Don't need all that. Look, we got RPMs in 5th. So I think the pedals are straightened out. Okay, we got about 80 something frames a second, but what's even more important is how that actually came out on the OBS. So there it is, 3 titles. I'm not doing rFactor. rFactor is... Okay, let's just do rFactor. Let's do some rFactor. Why not? Why not? Please don't download stuff. Please do not download anything. All right. There's rFactor. Actually, no, I'll wait for it to finish. I'll just put anything up. I'm gonna mention something that I experienced when I fired up rFactor. So in the video settings here, I initially turned the post effects up to ultra. Don't do that. That does not work. But I have anti-aliasing at 5, refresh rate 120, and then post effects on high. So I'm running windowed mode. Let's go. Get it. We can do it. Close that out. Close that out. Cool. All right, home stretch. Home stretch. These are the only 4 that I use. I uninstalled a couple other games I don't really give a fuck about. Let's do lightning. Actually, let's look here. So, circuit detail high, player detail medium, opponent medium, texture high, texture filter 8, special effects high, shadows high, motion blur off, soft particles low, raindrops low, road reflection high, environment reflection high, and stabilize horizon high. In the video resolution, you guys just saw what we did, so apply those changes. We'll run race. G-Sync, if you can see in the camera, is on. I don't know why it works in some games and some others it doesn't, but we'll have to figure that out. This is a download of New Jersey Motorsports Raceway. This is my local track. That's where I go drive at. Alrighty. Come on. I don't understand why you have to, okay. Look at that flickering. Can you guys see that? Lots of flickering happening in the menu. Still flickering with G-Sync, and I think it's because of OBS, but we'll drive it anyway. Oops, I just got a penalty. You have to wait for this. These graphics suck right now, by the way. This track isn't the most detailed. It's a mod. And it's a mod off of someone's imagination of New Jersey, because lightning doesn't exist anywhere. Okay, look at that flickering. Holy smokes. Did not have any flickering whatsoever without OBS running, so that's... Skip through it. 79 frames per second. brakes worked a lot better than I expected them to. Okay, cool. So 75 roughly frames per second with this game, but it's a lot of that choppiness has to do with the fact that I'm recording in OBS because it was essentially really smooth last time I tried it. So, well, there you have it. Those are all the sims that I run. I have Dirt 4, I have Dirt Rally 2. I'm not going to reinstall them just to test the graphics because I don't use them anyway. So that's what it is, ladies and gentlemen. What else do we have to talk about? Oh, let me show you my what I have in Nvidia control panel. So I have G-Sync enabled on this monitor, but my 3D settings are as you see here. I just followed the guide that was in the that dude's thread on iRacing forum, so you shouldn't really deviate too much from that. It works quite well. If anyone knows anything to boost this performance, it's not overclocked, the GPU is not, but the CPU is. If you guys know any tips so I can get a little bit more performance out of this, please let me know. In the meantime, I'm going to be hunting for a 2080 Ti, hopefully secondhand. I saw a couple that showed up for around 800. That's about my price point. So if you have one and you want to get rid of it in preparation for the 3080 series, or maybe I'll just chill and wait for the 3080 series, who knows. But so far this is still an improvement for me, but I still have to build that other computer to get the OBS working properly, and hopefully we won't have any type of G-Sync issues related to OBS, but we'll see. All right, so boys and girls, that is the Odyssey G9 in sim racing environments. All right, thank you all. Have a wonderful day. We'll talk to you later.